Welcome to Merill Talk, the channel we discuss about central bank activities, investment, bonds, stocks, and today we need to speak about crypto. I think during the inaugurations of the new president of the United States of America on the 20th of January, not long time ago, Mr. Trump was putting crypto in the front of the news. And I think it's important to decrypt what's going on and what's behind it. We know, as you know, we always not suggesting anything. We ask you to do your own homework. And as you know, also, we are not managing any crypto. So anyway, if you are interested, the disclaimer will pop up at the end of the video. I'm your host, I'm Marc. I'm a fund manager at Merill. I've been managing money for more than 2 decades from Geneva, London, and now here in our office in Valletta. So now let's welcome back in this Merill expert talk, Damien Bonello, and he will discuss with us, and probably you know him if you have been following our channel for more than a year. So welcome back, Damien. So Damien, welcome back to this expert talk. This is the first expert talk of 2025. Just for the audience, Damien used to be a part of the team. He used to be the analyst, the financial analyst specialized on tech. Now, Damien, maybe for our audience, maybe introduce yourself and what you are doing and why you are in the crypto space and what's your main purpose in this crypto space.
Right. Thank you for the introduction, Marc. Always a pleasure to be here speaking with you. So yeah, for those who don't know, I'm Damien. I used to work with Marc. Now I work for a Maltese-based blockchain firm called Simply Staking, where we do all sorts of infrastructure management, research, and other development work for other projects within this very interesting and very quickly moving ecosystem. What I mainly do at my job day to day, I just ensure that we're growing as a company within the ecosystem, conducting research from everything that I learned over here, and yeah, just trying to push the good name of Malta in the space of blockchain. Yeah, it's a very interesting time, like you mentioned. Donald Trump, 20th January, had a lot of promises up until in his campaign run regarding crypto and whatnot. So we're all sort of waiting to see if he's a man of his word. And so far, nothing would make me doubt that, especially, he's already started doing a bunch of executive orders relating to crypto. The Bitcoin or crypto asset digital reserve that they're going to plan. He also, something maybe not so relevant, but also relevant, but the founder of Silk Road, his name is Ross Ulbricht, Donald Trump pardoned him, which was one of the promises that he had mentioned in his campaign run. So a lot of good things might be coming towards the crypto asset industry, but I think if we're going purely from a market perspective at the moment, I think a lot of people were overhyping everything, as we saw the run up, Bitcoin 109K prior to inauguration, and then we saw a bit of a stagnation, and then when January 20th actually hit, up until now, it's flip-flopping, right? Not the pump that a lot of people had expected, but nonetheless, very interesting time.
Yes, thanks, Damien, for these introductions. And like I say, it's interesting because he promised this libertarian. I think he's also declassified some field, Martin Luther King, Kennedy. So I think it's a very interesting start. So let me start maybe with the first questions. As we know, especially for us, our audience, we are probably familiar with the three biggest ecosystem, which is obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. So my first questions, I know here we are not here to do any forecast, but my first questions will be related, and you presume, because this famous weekend, Trump did something incredible in the way like he was putting Solana ecosystem in the front. So my first questions here will be on Solana ecosystem. We discussed a lot about this, I think, previously. As we know, is it an Ethereum killers? So maybe that will be my first questions.
Right, great question. I think it's on the top of everyone's mind. Before I can fully answer whether or not Solana is an Ethereum killer or not, I just want to highlight what a chaotic weekend it was. I don't think anyone expected Donald Trump himself to create a cryptocurrency. It makes sense that it wasn't Solana because it's probably the easiest platform and the cheapest platform where you can actually reach a mass market for at a really cheap price, I would say. So yeah, launching a token the weekend before your inauguration, right after, I guess, Gensler had announced his resignation, was a bit of a funny power play, I would say. Launching blockchain from, I think it reached up to 70 billion fully diluted valuation, which is pretty insane. Obviously, everyone wanted a piece of the pie, including, I guess, some of his family members. Melania had also created the token. So we're just waiting for the rest of the family tree to come out on Solana. But yeah, to go back, I think Solana might be poised to take more market share from Ethereum in 2025. I feel like Ethereum is in a bit of a stagnant position as it is. Lots of internal fighting, especially between the Ethereum Foundation and the wider community. But yeah, I think Solana, just because of how much, how well received it is in the community, and how easy it is to, I guess, make money on there, because a lot of people always chase where the money is. I think it's going to do really well this year compared to the legacy token, which is Ethereum.
Yes, Damien, thank you very much for this description of Solana. I mean, here we are traditional investors. As you know, we are more like on the stocks and bond side. My questions to you, do you feel 2025 will be different in the way? Because we can imagine we have two types of investors, the growth investors and the value investors. And we have the feeling we start 2025 to go more in the directions of growth stocks, and we feel like value stocks will not dominate. And if I may, can I do a parallel between Ethereum's being very fundamentally well structured and probably Solana with a lot of discussions, not so many validators compared to the ecosystem of Ethereum. So I want to get your view on that side, and do you also feel there will be a hype that we will go not so much on the fundamental side? And I know last year you spoke about the ecosystem of Cosmos, so maybe first answer the questions regarding Solana be a growth and Ethereum's more like a value, and after maybe discuss, if you don't mind, the question of Cosmos, that you have been very bullish and positive on that side because of the fundamental side.
Great question, Mark. I kind of do see some parallels between, let's say, growth, value, Solana and Ethereum. I feel like Ethereum is more, like you say, value aligned. It moves at a slower speed. It's more conservative. I feel like the price has reached somewhat of a maturation. I could be highly wrong here because anything can happen in crypto. But when you compare it to the speed and the acceleration that Solana might be moving at, and all of the hype that's surrounding it, this is highlighted purely again because Donald Trump and his team decided to launch on Solana. Also, the fact that Solana is technically a made in USA blockchain, which is another thing that Donald Trump is focusing on, whereas Ethereum is a Swiss foundation. I do think Solana is more of a growth blockchain. Obviously, in the crypto asset industry, pure fundamentals are very hard to quantify. Both of them generate revenue. I can't give you exact figures on the top of my head. I know that it's costly to run both blockchains. So for people like us, simply staking validators, it's always costly to run any sort of software to support any network. But then again, like I said, Solana might generate more money in the shorter term. because there was over $200 billion of volume across the network in the past week, which is an insane amount. I think it's the highest weekly volume from one single ecosystem. So yeah, I see this momentum continuing in the near future. When it comes to Cosmos, I've highlighted in the past that I was quite bullish on the thesis of interoperability, connecting a bunch of different ecosystems within one project, one ecosystem. Lots of other projects are following similar routes now, because we have finally come to the conclusion that having everything connected is beneficial. So bridges are becoming easier to use, cheaper to use. Other projects, such as Optimism, which is an Ethereum layer 2, launched a similar concept called Superchain. Literally same concept as Cosmos, but a different consensus engine and tech stack. But the thesis of Cosmos and the fundamentals behind it is still there. Like, everyone needs to be connected to one another in a seamless way to make everything work as it should, such as the financial system. That's, everything is somewhat connected to one another, instant settlement. Those are the benefits of cryptocurrency, right? Instant settlement and instant transfers. So I am excited to see what 2025 might have for the Cosmos Hub and any other ecosystem that is trying to mimic it, such as the Optimism Superchain.
So, Damien, we spoke about Solana, we spoke about Ethereum, and putting in perspective Solana versus Ethereum. What's going on the Bitcoin side? Why I'm asking this, because I heard that Coinbase, one of the #1 broker, will be using Bitcoin as a collateral. We know also, especially for our audience, that because you work at Simply Stacking, that you can stack a lot of coins, but normally it's not really the norm to stack Bitcoins. So what's the trend for 2025? In the way this whole asset, because we can call it as a whole asset, Bitcoin compared to the other one who are youngsters, if I'm saying, going maybe in the other direction. So maybe how is your view on Bitcoin? How you see the adoptions for Coinbase as a collateral asset, and maybe give us our view on it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think 2025 is also going to be a very interesting year for Bitcoin. So we've been hearing about Bitcoin for quite some time, especially in the traditional markets point of view, or central bank point of view, right? All starting with countries adopting it as a different form of reserves, apart from gold. The United States wanting to now have like a digital reserve of Bitcoin. We'll see how that plays out. But so we're seeing a lot of importance, right? And companies like Coinbase, who are one of the prime brokers or exchanges that there is out there, has a lot of liquidity, who are trying to actively find use cases for Bitcoin itself, on-chain, off-chain. So what they did recently is now they're allowing you to take out loans using Bitcoin as collateral through a product called Morpho, which is similar to Aave. For those people who might know or not know, it's just a lending platform on-chain. But it's very interesting because we're finally seeing Bitcoin being able to be used in the I guess the real world, right? In exchange, you take out a loan. It's impressive. It's amazing. With regards to other things for Bitcoin, 2025 might be a very interesting year from a tech perspective. Traditionally, Bitcoin, the layer 1, Bitcoin or the layer 0, sorry, is just a store of value, right? But there are these things called layer 2s that are trying to actively find more use cases for it, such as Bitcoin staking. There's a product called Babylon, which is launching this product. So you hold Bitcoin, you can stake it, and you earn a yield on that, which is, in the 16 or so years that Bitcoin has been around, no one's thought of it, no one's wanted to do it. But what's the amazing part of this is by enabling staking on Bitcoin, you are tapping into the largest market that you can think of in crypto. Hundreds of billions of dollars of unstaked Bitcoin can, earn additional yield. So that's going to be a very interesting product. There's also other projects that are trying to take a piece of the pie, trying to make Bitcoin more Ethereum-like. So you could have dApps and whatnot on Bitcoin. It's still early stages, but there's a lot of work being done to make this this ecosystem a thriving one, such as Ethereum, Solana, and any other ecosystem that has multiple things going on. So I'm very much looking forward to see what 2025 and beyond has for Bitcoin. But yeah, that's how things stand at the moment.
So Damien, we spoke, like we said, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin. No, I think probably our audience has been curious what's going on the stablecoin side. I know Tether, they've been reallocated. So maybe you can give us your opinions, what's going on, and how you see the thing for 2020-25 on the stablecoin side.
Yeah, so you briefly touched upon Tether relocating. They're moving their office to El Salvador, which is, the very crypto-friendly country that we know about. Stablecoins are fundamental in, bridging people onto the ecosystem. I feel like there's a lot of work being done from, issuers like Circle. They have the CCTP, which is this cross-chain transfer protocol, which easily bridges stablecoins between different ecosystems. And I think since DeFi has been booming recently, once again, lots of people are finding ways to increase their APR, even with stablecoins. I have seen times or instances where the yield on a stablecoin is 10+%, which is great to see, but also gives me a bit of flashbacks to post pre-Terra days a couple of years ago. But I think it's getting very mature, hundreds of billions of dollars just in stablecoins. And I think 2025, we're going to see much more liquidity flowing into the market, flowing into stablecoins altogether. The biggest issuers, Tether, Circle, and then you have other smaller time issuers which are also trying to take a piece of the pie, because stablecoin issuance is probably one of the most profitable businesses, because all they have to do is hold US treasuries or any other asset. In return, they get to keep the yield generated from those underlying assets, which is, in my opinion, an amazing business.
Thank you very much, Damien. I think you really give us a very good overview. And just to repeat for the audience, so we started with the war between Ethereum and Solana. We went into Bitcoin and finally the stablecoins. So you have been covering really quite in detail, having an overview about 2025. But Damien, tell us where we can find you if we have questions or if our audience is curious to know more. So I know you are in a platform of previously called Twitter and now X, and we know that Elon Musk is quite active. So you are quite active, I think, on X, no?
No, yes, that is correct. I'm very active on Twitter or X. A lot of the crypto industry is on X. They see it as like the best platform. You can find me on our company X profile, which is Simply Staking, or you can find me myself if you write Damien Bonello, which is just my name. There'll be a link in the video description.
Thank you very much, Damien, for coming to this expert talk, this first expert talk of the year. I think you brought us a lot of interesting insight. Also, you can follow us on LinkedIn, as you will see on the screen, at Merill Investors. We really appreciate your like and your comments. I mean, don't hesitate to contacting us to know more. Now, to our audience, we will have putting the disclaimer, and we hope to see you as usual for the next video more on the inside. As we know, we like to cover macroeconomic and a lot of things going on, especially on the central bank side, because we have been saying that we saw a lot of resilience in US, and especially I will say, and to finish on that side, that the Fed last year surprised on its last meeting being like very hawkish and quite resilient, been dovish all the year but hawkish on his last meeting. But we see not only resilience in US, I think recently the Central Bank of Norway and stay steady, but also the Central Bank of Japan hike, saying like the Central Bank acting like the economy of Norway, but also the economy of Japan is doing quite well. So it's not only US who's doing quite well. And if you have been following us, I wrote an article on Spain, also quite an interesting things, because as we know, we are struggling in Europe, but the south of Europe seems to be in good shape. So anyway, we hope to see you soon, and don't hesitate to contact Damien or myself. Thank you very much. Now the disclaimer is coming. Thank you very much, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.